Welcome to another episode of Rags to Race Cars. Yes, I know, 2 episodes this week. Who would have thought that you'd have 2 episodes this week? So what are we doing today? Well, today we've got this thing, which is a rear axle for a Skoda Fabia. But you might look at it and say, well, that doesn't look like a rear axle for a Skoda Fabia, and it's kind of not. What we've got is we've got these extra braces in, so we don't actually have to run a rear anti-roll bar, because this stiffens up the actual anti-roll of the rear axle. So we're going to get this installed. Now I'll talk you through it. So basically what we've got is we've got these 2 points that were welded on here and here on both sides, and then we've got some rose joint links. These are adjustable, so if we actually do want to push the toe in and out of the rear axle, we can do that, obviously when it gets tracked. So that's good for as far as that. And we've actually braced up So what we've got is we've actually got these rear plates here, and these are 3mm thick rear plates. They sit underneath the rear spring cups, so that when we have excess force from the suspension going up and down, obviously, it's going to allow it to protect and to stop any kind of flex in the chassis, which will be perfect for what we want, because we want to minimize flex. We've also got power flex bushes inside. So the first stage, we're going to remove these ABS sensors. We're going to put some titanium bolts in for the bolts holding the ABS sensors in, just in case they break. We're going to remove both sides. The hubs, even though they are rusty, are brand new wheel bearings. So we're going to clean them up with a wire brush, and we'll get the old one out of the car, put the new one in, and it'll be good. So stay tuned. Right, so we've finished the rear axle as far as going into the car. It's all painted, it's all ready to go in. We've changed the titanium bolts, as we said we were going to do before, for the ABS sensors, so they're less likely to break when we want to take them out again. They're also a special type of copper grease for titanium. We've also cleaned up the hub faces, so this should mount on properly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the back of the car, we're going to jack up the whole thing, we're going to release the rear axle, drag it out, compare it to this one, so you'll be able to see what modifications have actually been done. Now you can do this on a Polo, an Ibiza, or an Audi A1. The Audi A1 later ones are a little bit different to this, and if you've got an S1 then I hate you. But we're going to put this one in and we'll go from there.
Talk to me. Can't get your tongue when we're talking about what I need. gets your tongue when we're talking about what I need. Think you're the silent type. That ain't what I like. I need a man who knows how to speak. Oh, you think you're the silent type. That ain't what I like. I want a man to keep me company. It's up to me. Baby, won't you talk to me?
I never thought I'd fly over my own state. Something about those city lights were calling out my name. Now mama, don't you cry.
Right, so we've almost got the rear axle out. However, we are having a small problem. And the problem seems to be with the original brake fittings that are in here, because they are basically the original brake fittings that came on the car when it was new in 2007. I'll show you. So as you can see, that brake fitting there, right there, that isn't really wanting to budge. I've got new brake fittings for it, so what we're going to do is we're just going to cut that tab off, and we're probably going to cut the other tab, that side off, because I have a handy little tool. I don't know where the handy little tool's went. Oh, here's the handy little tool. This tool right here. Little die grinder. So we're going to put on... That was close. We're going to put on our safety specs, because safety is paramount, and we're going to cut this off.
I want on the night that we once stayed 14 tonight. Those Friday football lights sure did feel like fame. This big world will always change, but the small town will stay the same. Fuck these freeways, led to freedom. Thought I'd leave and find my way. When this big map tide breaks me down.
So here we have the two axles. As you can see, they're a hell of a lot different, but basically the same. Same, but different. Anyways, so we've got the bracing bars into this one. We've sorted out a lot of the brake lines, but we're going to probably buy full brake lines from the front to the back, well, from the chassis to the caliper, and just replace all them. So we're going to leave them out at the minute, pop the rest of this axle back in, and then go from there.
Did you wait too long? Tell him that you love him, but he's already gone, darling. Did you make two wrongs? Know that daddy never made a right before, darling. You were never made to be the judge, darling. He never changed his way for me to budge, darling. It's feeling like a cold dog winning, the sun still behind the trees, yeah. She asked me if I had another minute and I ain't had the heart to leave, yeah. It's feeling like a cold dog winning, the sun still behind the trees, yeah.
So guess who was a colossal idiot? This guy. Sorry, this guy. This guy. What I've done is I used one of these, thinking that because it's copper, it won't dent anything when putting the rear axle in. It did dent something. It dented this piece of the wheel bearing. I thought with it being steel, it was going to be fine. But it isn't. So what we've got, we've had to go out and buy a new SKF wheel bearing for the Fabia, which was an extra £40, which I didn't really want to do because it's already got a brand new wheel bearing in it. It was just an old brand new wheel bearing. But we'll get that one on, we'll torque it all down, you'll see what we're doing with this. Right, so first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to get a chisel and we're going to hammer this part here off. Once we get this part off, that'll allow us to get into the centre nut. We're going to undo the centre nut, take this bit off, put the new one back on, torque up the centre nut, pop the new cap back on, and we should be golden. So, well, obviously this is a chisel, this is a new type of chisel, and a proper hammer. The Saws hammer.
The sun's still behind the trees. She asked me if I had another minute.
Right, so now we've got the cover off. We can get the impact gun with obviously an impact rated socket, but silver. And sorry, headphone users. There we go. One wheel bearing off. That's how easy it is to do a wheel bearing on a Fabia. Bar taking off the caliper carrier, the rear disc, plate, stuff like that. But you can see stub axle is on, so we're going to give this a quick wipe with a microfiber cloth because it has got some residue, and we'll get the new one on. So now we've got the rear wheel bearing in and we've got the nut on. We've got to then use this thing that monkeys don't know how to use, and a lot of mechanics don't know how to use actually. We're going to torque it up to 70 Newton meters and then 30 degrees after that. So with that adapter and that adapter, we can then tighten it up to the specific torque. Now all that's left to do, and we're going to use the very tool that got us into in here in the first place, is pop this cover on. So it should just slide like that, and then this is when I mess it up. And there we go, one wheel bearing fitted, torqued up perfectly. Now what we've actually done in the meantime is we've actually bought some new bolts. So we've got these shock absorber bolts, and we're also waiting for the rear axle bolts, and also some clips for the brake lines and some new brake lines, which will be here in literally about a minute on the video, but it'll be here in a few days for me. So we're going to fit these rear shock absorber bolts, so we'll have to take off the tie arms, whatever you want to call them, fit the new bolts, torque them all up, make sure they're all tight, because why not have new bolts when we can. And I lost the other ones in the grass, well, one of them, so yeah, we're going to fit that. So now we've got these bolts in on the rear axle, what we're going to do is we're going to torque them all up. They go to 40 Newton meters plus 90 degrees on that. Then we'll put the sway bar links in, the bracing in, and that should be us done. Then we'll put the front bolts for the rear arm in, pop the discs on and the new brake lines that we get, and then we should be done. So we've had a little bit of an issue with the Fabia, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to end the video now because we're still waiting for a lot of the supplies. We're still waiting for the rear brake lines. We're also doing something with the fuel system, so stay tuned for that. We've even got a massive fuel cell for the boot, so we'll be putting all the AN lines, fuel pump, everything like that, and explaining exactly how you actually do that to a Skoda Fabia. So thank you very much for watching and stay tuned.